Good morning, class. Sorry that I'm not feeling so well, so I try to do it online and maybe I stop sometimes. But I try to go through the lecture where we stop by um on the last week. Also, we have the lab go through the children's horse. So we still go. I'm trying to make the records. So if the quality is not that good today, maybe I will try to record one more time. Okay, so we know the Trojan horse. So this one is mainly is try to open the purpose. That means that we need to know the certain user and try to convert the purpose of like to the unknown to the user. So that's what we try to do. And mainly, let's say if we want to list the files in the directory, or like sometimes if you want to create a say user ID shell. So all of them they will pack or like embed inside the like certain script application. In the last time I showed you the sample code. So right here, so no matter which way, if I want to list the file, then I can embed it. My example is using the Python script. Also, if you see something like if it's a Java application, sometimes you will see maybe some CSS file, or even we just change the name. So just pretend it's a PDF file once you open it, or some especially on the like Windows, because when you install certain application, so they're running a script, then open the backdoor within your file list. So it's really common way we talk about the mention about the backdoor. So it's just like for the avoid the normal login process. Um, Most of the time backdoor will be bypass our regular. Okay, so, and they will try to leave the back door open, so it's easy for hacker to steal your sensitive data. So most of the time they will those like the malwares will exploit your backdoors. And when you, or of course for some programs we do have like we call it extraction backdoor, so they are not really doing in purpose like for attack, but sometimes they just open it for a certain surface, but without like careful checking, then they forgot to close it. Okay, so that's easy. If you watch the news, sometimes it really happen. Even the Microsoft, the Windows, when you download some like free games, free application, there's always like I use as myself as example. So it's always easy. Always free have a huge dangers. Okay, and last time we mentioned about the wedges. So wedges called the remote access through the Trojan. So this one we open for the remote administration tool, and then we will provide different type of like an automate backdoor, and then they can get the administrative control. Once the hacker able to connect through the remote software, then really they can mainly they will looking for all the your directories and then the files inside, and checking if you have some sensitive data, or even they can monitor your activity. So then checking, okay, maybe you open the browser and then you log into your bank. So all this, or you keep taking. So right here you see some example. Let's say they load the keystrokes, or taking screenshot, control your webcam, copy them files, and then embed other malware. Okay, here's one Gemini, and then And this we mentioned about as a last example. And next, we have the rootkits. Rootkits, this is where we stopped at last time. So the rootkit will be the transaction like corrupt the system and then carry out a convert action without detection. So that's what the rootkit is. Okay. So in the earliest when we like store the backdoor so they can enter our system and then corrupt our system program to hide the entries and then the actions. So maybe in the example, when we install a program, we will list all the directories, right, the content, but we are alter, but not include the certain files. So maybe sometimes we are not able to detect it. Okay, it's being modified. And the network status program, so it will alter the connection from the specific host. So it's easy to include the middleman. So it's really common we can do in this way. Let's say as an example, we can look at it. It's called the Linux wikis 4. So it replaces the original system program. So it may refer to the stack person. So if let's say we have the ls file du for the file system and ps top ls software or qo for the process, and contact is to hide the rootkit jobs. Okay. Contact is setting the regular job or service. So you can use for let the program to keep on executing. So, but maybe you didn't really pay attention. You need to check, monitor your with system activity. Then we're allowed to see those like real or they mainly when they keep executing, they will occupy your resources, take your resources, and you will see. Okay. But barely if unless unless you have the really low performance or like you're feeling you couldn't take certain action, your system cannot taking certain action. Otherwise, it's really hard to unaware. Even like this, let's say I have a CPU process stay in maybe taking like 30–40%, I'm not really realize it. But if you feel like, okay, even I want to click a button or if I can open a browser, it's really slow, then okay, let me check my activity, try to monitor it. Then you realize why this is real or suspicious surface or program is executing. And then also like we have the login or others can allow the attacker to log in. So they will accrue the super user privilege. Okay. So they suppress any like login and the next step. So also if I convert to hide the presence of attacker, so TCPD or system log to inhibit the logging. So all this we are checking on information, but we are not able to see once the attacker to log. And then when we add back doors, so they can like log in unnoticed. So they are so once they inject or like using a Trojan to put a certain file, open the back door, then it means that they have their own gateway to access your computer. So you have no way to do it. And also they'll add some network sniffers to get your username, password. So all those information, they will check like which bank are you using. And maybe like to certain website, they will try to save your username, password, email account, or like they will pretend I'm sending requests to you, and then they will record. Okay, so you click on that link, then you will so which password you're using. So it's a really common way they can do.
Planning on moving far, but once you got there, it was all You can highlight it. Before whenever we connect to the laptop. Well, it was insane. Once they got the results from the like, that was all automated. Once they got the original landing spot
Okay.
was actually
Just
boom, this is the right.
and
It was all automated. It was just fucking.
so there are really others. We have the rootkits also exist in other systems on our own. And then we talk about all those, like then we have the defenses. And we using the non-standard like program, try to obtain some information, and those standards like once like they shouldn't, then they will compare. Okay, we maybe have a ls function to list the like content of the directory, so directory dump. So it will have a program to read the whole directories. So you will see. So this one is not the standard one. And compared to the ls, if you remember, if you work on some Linux system to showing the directory or list all the file, if they're different, so it's probably is a compromise. So you need to pay attention to those action and commands. And also we look for specific strings and execute. So the program to do this is try to analyze, like usually not rigid, but usually easy enough to write your own. So sometimes it's okay, just like for simulation or like to experience what's doing, how the program's doing. But once we able like taking action, most of the project we let us all the backdoor, then we can taking action like this difference. So we need to looking for the change of the cryptographically strong checksum. So all this will work because they bypass the system program. Or sometimes they just using the low level we call the system call directly. So all this is really hard to check. And then next, they will alter the kernel. So kernel is in between your application and then your really hardware. So it would be, we say they change like using the system directly, right? So they will try to alter the system calls and then using the kernel lowerable modules. For application, we have different libraries, and then even for lower level for the kernel, for kernel itself, also we have different modules. Okay. Okay, maybe I will. Okay. Then let me wait. Because I know some of you are trying to connect it. I will stop right here and pause. And I will wait for maybe a few more minutes. And then let's see if other students are able to connect to the Zoom. Okay, okay. Have it. I will wait for few more minutes if I can see the students join the meeting. Then I will restart again. If in case
So, sir, we have 10 students in class. We have the video
Mhm.
connected and we're trying to connect the audio currently. So
Okay.
they're working on it right now.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for assisting. Also, recording it too. In case you miss some certain part, some student you can just refer to the YouTube. I will upload later. Okay. But I will wait for a bit longer so you can try to connect. I will wait for it. Yeah.
Hydrogen, which the first fighter jet we were in. Not only the freaking out here, but be nimble while doing. Like we've had planes that can break the sound here. This is a fighter jet. This is a wall electric. So they heat and then NASA uses one. They brought it the shuttle.
Okay. I think there's some students still working to connect to the Zoom. Then I will wait for a few more minutes. I didn't see the numbers increase, the participants. Okay. When you okay, there's still troubleshooting there. I will just wait a bit longer because also I cannot speak too long. So also I just wait for you if you can able to connect. Yes, for the I will do it soon. So if you join the in the real time, so I would like still try to host. Okay, perfect. Okay, I see the students increase, like joining the participants numbers increased. So for other class too, I will try to record it. So if you do have troubles to connect, you are welcome to review check my YouTube. I uploaded maybe by Friday or Saturday, so you can check again if you missed part of it. And for today's lecture, mainly not only cybersecurity for for my other classes too, and I try to post the Zoom and then record it so all of you can go and check it later. Okay. And if you're working, then let's go back. I know some of students are missing. I just recap a little bit. So last time we know the Trojans is like everything based on the Trojans, we able to once the hacker able to remote access our computer, we will try to have a backdoor, and then once you like just imagine somebody like able to get into your open your door and then break into your house, then they can take lots of action. They want to secure, like make sure they can keep on stay and monitor your computer. Okay, so they do have some called a root quiz. So it's like try to prevent the detection, because sometimes the window will checking, okay, or the system will listen yourself. Like if you were the hacker, then you want to try to hide your all those fingerprint or like the all the action you're taking. So that's what we stop by right here. One example, they will replace the original system programs. So all these programs, including the listing files or like showing the process, content is like saying the jobs, and also the like next step. So they were hiding the presence of the attacker. So they will try to taking certain action to try to hide themselves and try to add more backdoors. So maybe not more than one or two. And once they able to add a backdoor, then that means they can be connected to your system, or they can create some new service or program, keep on sending your information to the server so they can log you, doing the logging. So that's the purpose, like when they set up the backdoor. So they are not really like stay online and then checking what you're doing, but they just like let the program or some service to save all your behavior using your computer or some sensitive data, username, password. And then they can go back to their logging file and check, okay, is it any maybe does it include any like bank information or certain account you was logging in? Then they will able to retrieve the data. And after they're able to log in, then they need to think in like doing the defenses, like try to prevent. So they're using, we say, the non-standard programs to obtain the same information. So compare with the like the standard one they're using. So let's say they have the AOS, so list all the directory, but they're using a directory dump. It's common to read the whole directory. So this one is not the standard one. So this is how they create, and you really hard to trigger. So they will change like the cryptographically. So or they will looking for specific strings in executables. So that's all the way they try to do. So they mainly like try to create a different one is they want to bypass the system program, or they want to use the system call directly. So when we saying something about system call, that means they are including the lower level. That's what we stop right here. I just stop right here. That's all we try to alter the like the kernel. When they have the lower level access, then they have like have more like privilege to retrieve your data, and they are more right. And this one we calling is the kernel loaded the modules. So it's a pretty similar idea if you're writing a program, or I give you some example using Node.js or something like Python, we try to import. So we do have some predefined libraries. And for kernel too. So because kernel is the some application or like low level language you using handle the between the hardware. So we have the hardware, and then we have the your application you develop. So how they really handle, so they do have some kernel have us. So thereby they try to eliminating the like the effectiveness of the early defenses. So when they able to access the kernel, that means they can do the system call directly. Then in higher level application, it's really hard to monitor. Okay. Here is an example. They try to modify the system call table. Then they will import the versions and then create new kernel load modules. So then they can hide the presence of their existing one. So you see the difference is like when they will compare the system call table in the kernel and then copy and store in the boot time. Okay, so once they start at the boot time, then you're never able to aware all those being like hacked file or like certain service or application injected by the hacker. And when they access to the kernel level, then we have really no way, like it's really hard to scan and then to search what are those files being injected, like put into your system. So the only possible and safe method we always say, like you have to reinstall your whole system. And there one more, they will change, like for example, they will change the variable in your kernel. So they point to the system call table. So when we point to quantify tables, so they will defeating the code count, the NAS defense. So they will modify just like the file system layer. So they will hide all the file with their rootkits like user ID or group ID. And then they will manipulate some like process the pseudo files to control what process monitor your program report. So when they take the action to alter the kernel, and after they complete all these steps, then they kind of like being invisible to you. Here the example you will see, let's say the BMG, so Sony BMG, they do the rootkit to implement the DRM on the music CDs. So it only works for the Windows system. And user, they have to like install the like proper program to play the music, and also they install the software to alter the function in the Windows OS to prevent playing music using other programs. Also, it will consume itself by altering the kernel, so they are not like list to any files or folder beginnings with the system. So they will store their software in such a folder. So if you see if you are using the Windows, and if you go to C and program file, and then you see lots of folders. Okay, so some of them they're related to your system, and also like when we put your like when you press the button to turn on, at that moment they will load some booting files, some necessary libraries. But once they alter and change it, so those like the software like contact the Sony to get the advertisement to display when the music was playing. And also once they make it public, so they can create the JJ host with an ambiguity system like this. They can. And because those CDs like caused a really huge problem, then there's some like they will have the flood publicity. Also, they need to recall those CD. In the old time, it did really happen. So they will modify the CD. They will try to replace the original content and try to hack into your system. So they were using like some hard physically. So sometimes if you purchase like USB or in old time we have like something like 4Ps later with CD, DVD. So it's the possible way. But why now it's mainly like because everything like goes to cloud. So most of action movies stay on the software layer application. And then after they in your file get the rights, set the backdoor, and then after your kernel, the next step they will replicating their JJ host. So JJ host they will make a copy of itself. So it's called propagating their JJ host. So the early version of the enemy game use this to delete the copy of itself, and later they change it. So it's really hard to detect, and so they will try to like modify the it's a long time ago they will modify compiler to include the Trojan host, and then they will copy itself in a specific program, including the like later version of compiler. Okay, so in 1890, Thomson just implement this one. So we tell the Thomson the compiler, so they will modify the compiler. Compiler for programming is the help us to convert the code to the binary code. So once we compile like login will accept the user correct password or fix the password. So it can be same for one other user, or then we modify the compiler again, so it will compile a new version of the compiler. So exact code to do the first step is automatically inserted. Then after this, we compile the compiler. They will delete the source, like contain the modification, and then put the undotted source back. So here is the forever loop. So once they're able to modify the first compiler, and then just imagine it if you write just a normal program. Let's say here we have the Python script, and then we try to execute, but when for example, right here, you just like maybe just like normally you have a program and then just walk through your whole system. And if the compiler, every time when they execute, when they try to path, and then they will inject, like adding certain statements and syntax to modify, and every time they will keep on modify. So no matter how many new version release, they will modify the original compiler. So it's a for loop, you're not able to do that. So here's the graph showing you. Let's say we have the login source, and the login source we're going like if we go through the like correct compiler, then we will make the login executable, and then we will like let the user to input the like username, password, and when we execute it, and then we are able to log in. Okay. But if for the one like for the compiler, we already modified the .wave, and then if we try to execute from the login source and then through the compiler, so no matter the user like putting the original password, or we say the magic password, that means that any password, they will still allow you to log in. So it make the function like already change. So that's the purpose how we log to like change the login program. And then we talk about the compiler. So once the compiler source, like for the login, like for the correct way, so we pass the login source, and then through the compiler executable, then we will provide the correct login executable way. But when we pass through the doctor compiler, so no matter what kind of login source we pass to there, so the compiler executable will reach the login executable. So here is like once we go through this step, then you're never able to change it. Then you have to figure out like where did they change the compiler. So it's really hard. Okay. So for the comments, like it's really great pain to ensure all those like second version of compiler like never released it. So finally, what happens? Like we have to delete when a new compiler executable from different system or overwrote the compiler. When we like go to this level, it's really hard to handle unless you really are at advanced level, and then you have like plenty of time to check all these things. Otherwise, really hard. So there is no amount of like the source level verification or like the scoring routine will protect you using the untrusted code. So right here is no way. So just be remember, like when you have a source code, it can help, but it's not ensure you are safe. That's the idea. That's why like sometimes it's open source and or shared to online, then you need to really be careful. And mainly because everything on the attack or like the Trojan horse, they can of course for the Windows system itself or like the Linux, they have their own backdoor, then they try to inject certain files to your system. Then it's like globally, like it's not only you, but it's like all the system. So but if for only to certain user, most of the risk is that because you try to download application online. So here's you need to pay attention and increase your awareness. Is that okay? Make sure you download certain content through the official website, or if you need to like looking, because you will see in certain website they will allow you to download for certain application from other, like they will grouping and share, making a list. So you never know did they modify those application, and then once you install it, they will start with the like first level is like changing, create a backdoor, reading your script, and then check all those like modify your defense, and then modify your kernels, and then change your compiler. Then once you go to like this level, then it's really hard to recover. Okay. And next one, the Trojan horse, and another really common is called the computer virus. So the computer virus is the program insert like itself into like one or more files and perform some action. So here's the definition. So they will like have an insertion phase. So they will insert itself into a file. And then in the execution, so when we try to run it, so they will perform some action, or sometimes they just no, okay, like possibly maybe no action, so it's really okay. So the injection phase, they must be like present. So they do not need to always like execute. So, but they want to make sure they are able to inject into your files or like. So the Lehigh virus insert itself into the boot file. So only the boot file not infected. So they will keep checking all those like the boot file, and mainly because the boot file is when you turn on a computer, once your system started, then boot file is the one. So once you start your computer, then your whole system is under affected by the virus. So is it Trojan horse like or not? In certain time, like forward action, yes, it will infect the program action. So also itself, it will have some like virus action like infect and execute. But for no, because they override the purpose itself. So it's just that we call the virus action. So it only want to infect or execute. So there's nothing really special like for those purpose. But for the Trojan horse, they do like try to open the back door, steal your information. For the semantic or like philosophical differences, so the difference is like again the Trojan horse also like inhabit the computer virus. So it's kind of part of it. They try to do it in fact an execution towards taking certain action, but mainly it's the purpose. Like the often read the purpose, they are not the same. Okay. Here's we just like we got about a little bit history. So the programs for Apple II wrote something. So they are not called a virus, but very experimental, like very coherent. So the graduate student would describe them. Okay, teacher, and name it a computer virus. And then when they taste the idea is that under the Unix system. Okay. So we will be the last part of this experiment. So they want to get the super user privilege. So they will try to get it through like maximum 60 minutes, minimum within like 5 minutes. Okay. So when the virus is small, so it's not like because of the response time. Also, when for the virus they attack, then it also like we move quickly. So it's how it works. And then for the Uni hybrid, and then it's 1108 system. So the goal is to try to spread it. So they will implement some like simple security property to build up the pendulum. So it also writing is no in hybrid. So they can the virus can spread easily. That's what they did. Here's a more simple like first report of the virus. So the brain, the Pakistan virus. So they are using for the IBM. So you see stuff from 1986. You will see the term we talk about the floppy. So floppy is just a really it's a square in shape. It's a black in color. So most of them, but if they have other colors data. So they will alter the boot section. So in old time, for the computer, we can insert a small floppy into it. So those floppy can like spread to others. So when you share those floppies, they will also try to spread to other floppies. Okay. Also the Mac. So this one like mainly focus for Mac. So you see different system, they will target their virus to it. So they will put the universal message for pieces there and then delete itself. That's how it works. And still more, so they put in some small virus on the Unix system to spread to the 46 in 8 days. Or mainly some of them can be a shell script. And also they will try to store some set of comments in a spreadsheet and load the spreadsheet when they're open. So it may be possible, you know, nowadays because everything goes to cloud and maybe you using like share the Google Documents, Excel. So Excel is part of a spreadsheet, but also maybe others commonly or also share some like free version, then you need to be careful. So they maybe they'll change a value in specific row column and then spread to other files. And here we will stop by in this part. So including the infection vectors. So we including the boot setters, infectors, executable infectors, data infectors. And because they are not like mutually exclusive, so some of the virus can do 2 or 3 of this. So for this, they're all able to. You will hear a lot about boot. So we try to have so boot setters is a virus like infection that when they try to inject in itself to the boot setter on the disk. So all those like we do have a section of this like container code. If you have, we need to know like for the computer, but so when we start like press the power button, like turn on your computer, how the system works. We need to load all those like program files like for the Windows. Let's say if you're using Windows, if you're using Linux, like running like Ubuntu, yes, or if using Mac OS. So start like from power off to turn on. Then we need to make sure how the system like loading from which location. So they are also from of them they are saving from your hard drive, or we say the SSD. So it's your storage. So they will if you did install some Windows by yourself, like if you have some experience or look at your hard drive, so you'll see part of your storage, like after you install your OS, so they will be taken by the Windows system. So if let's say you have a 1 terabyte, like after we remove the header, so you see the was the header, and then also we have the Windows system itself. Okay, so here's the idea. So for those like the storage will contain those code, and then when they execute, so they first see those at disk. So they in the boot time. So once they try to infect the boot sector, so they will move, like let's say here's the brain virus, they move the this interrupt vector from 30H to 60H. So when they move it, they will set up a new interrupt vector to invoke the virus. Because when the floppy, because it's really long time ago, if you know the history, we talk about the brain virus is like for the IBM computer. Or you maybe have no idea what's the floppy. So when every time when they insert the floppy, they will know, okay, there's a new floppy. They will check the location. Okay, so it's not there, then they will copy itself on the disk after saving the original boot log. So if no free space, then doesn't infect. But if it's any free space, then it will infect it. Also, they will try to overwriting the use of this space. That's how they did. And then if they will jump to vector at 6DH. So that's how it like doing the boot setter infector, how it works. So mainly if asking what are the possible like infection vectors. So you should able to like know what or these three: boot, setter, executable inverter, and then the data inverter. Okay. Then when we have a executable inverters, so we when we send a program, we do have a header, and the header we have some the instructions and data. So we will see that when we have a first program instruction to be executed right here, and okay, like just like this. So when they execute that part, if we have the virus like infect the execution program, so they will try to like jump to the beginning of they will try to adding the adding some executable instruction and data, so they were able to like jump to the beginning. So they were adding right here to here. Okay, so they'll jump through, and then after they commit, they will return back to the original. So you see after they attach it, then change the like modify the executable part from here, then they will jump to the virus. They will skip your original one, and after they complete it, they will return back. So when the virus infect the executable program, so you will see they infect either the .exe, .com, and on your computer. So also they may be like append itself, that means like, or put itself anywhere. So they will fix it on the binary, so they will execute at some point. That's how the executable works. Here's the one of the tools name, or like the obviously virus. So first they will check if the system infected. So if no, they will set up to respond the request to the executable file. So we say, and then check dates. So if not that date, so they will say will respond to the clock interval, then run the program. Okay. So otherwise they will set a destructive flag. Okay, they will delete it. And then maybe not infected or files. That's how they did. Then when they move on, they will check all the calls like asking file to be executed. So do nothing for the command .com, and then if otherwise they will infect it or delete it. Okay. They will create the error, so they didn't send a signature when the .exe execute. So they will show the execution stage. So all those exe executable files will continuously like be infected. So they create the loop. And then we have the macro virus. So those virus like composed of like a sequence of instruction. So they will interrupt rather than like execute directly. So this one, the macro virus. So they can infect either executables. So for the Adobe shell virus or data files. So you see the highlighted notice. They edit the spreadsheet. So they were independent of the machine architecture, but the effect will be like really maybe that called the machine dependent. Most of all these like virus really depends on the machine or the we call the desktop. So different system architecture, hardware architecture will affect them, because when they need to, especially they need to work on their like the boot files and sometimes like the kernel level, because all those lower level will be different. That's why in the application layer, maybe you just like writing the same, like let's say you have the Python script application, then how do they handle it? Then it would really depends on the system architecture itself. Malaysia. So right here, so it's showing like let's say we have the Microsoft Word document. So it will be different Windows and Mac system. So they are not the same. But they will involve when the open the infra file. So they will install itself as an open. the MAC code and copy itself to the normal template. So this one will infect any files they are open in the future. Okay, and also they will involve in the mail program and sending itself to everyone in user address book. User mail program may be the most of the Mac user, they are not using it, but this like real for the Mac user. So it's really depends on, because for this different system, they have different way to handle it, and they need to change their those virus, or like sometimes as what we discussed last time. Sorry, okay. Sometimes we try to detect the system and then execute certain part, or like for the syntax, it may not exactly the same. So if I put the back file execute on my Mac OS, I'm not able to execute it. But if you put the Linux file to the Windows, it may not be working. So we need to depends on checking the environment we are using. So they were calling maybe have a different system call, or like taking certain action to involve to the program. And also maybe we have like the multi-party virus. So the virus can like infect the entire, either the boot sector or executables. So typically two parts. One is like one part on the boot sector, one is the executable infector. So those will be like combine two parts together working concealment. So we maybe have like, let's say I have like terminate or state residence, state of encryption, polymorphism, or like metamorphism. And because we have more virus like TSR virus, and TSR virus is like stay active in the memory after the application, or like the bootstrapping or dismounting, so it's complete. So non-TSR virus only execute when the host application execute. So this one we have different names in different time, and here's like brain or doing some virus, so it's stay in the memory, and then after the program or this mine is complete. So once we load it to from a boot from a disk setter to our main memory, then they will stay there. Still have virus, so it will like conceal the infect of the files. Let's say the IDF virus, so they will mask the docs, the DOS service, and then they will interrupt the handler. So let's say they will request the file length, so they will return the length as the in uninfected files. And they will all try to open the file, so maybe temporarily disinfect files, and then reinfect on closing, and then request like load the file and execution. So we have to load the infected file. So here's the steps in doing. And here will be we will try to cover the last part, will be the encrypted virus. So the virus that like right here, they will try to, we have the virus code, and then they have the disabling routine, and then they will add the key in behind, and they will add the virus code in between. So this one, they were detecting the virus by saying now like much harder for the virus, because it's really hard to change because of the key. So that's how they like try to encrypt it. Here's the example to showing how they doing the encryption. Let's say with RA goes to K1, so they will try to, and R2 equals to KB K2. So they will try to set the two register A and B with two like key 1, 2, or maybe we have like RC. So they with the SOV. So this one will be contained with the virus. Okay, so once they check it, so I want to see the register, see is it equals to EOV. So if no, then we will start to do it. So they will try to encipher the byte of the message. So they will copying if you know the gateway, they XOR or XOR, so they will match the pattern at the same. And then they will try to do some like advance of the counters. Then the register will plus one, and also another key will plus one, so they move by the end. This is what we try to stop right here, and then for the remaining part, I will try to cover in other lecture. And for the lecture part, we stop right here. I would like to know if anybody have a question about the program I share, or like did you try to execute certain file? If you have some issue, you're like feel free to stay and ask me. If no, then you are okay. Feel free to leave. Yeah. Thank you for joining. If no other question, then I will stop our lecture for today, and that's it for it. Thank you.